So they make cyber zombies.
That is an inelegant way to put it, but yes.
I am familiar with this process.
Yeah, Yoshi will explain the whole tanker thing, and something had happened on the tanker, and we woke up in this space once before.
Can I roll that ship? Was that ship actually affected at all physically? That actual ship? I'm asking because Dash would, her personality is to monitor airwaves, seacraft, things like that. Any big ship like that, if something were to go down where the ship were to explode or be harmed.
You want to try to remember?
Right, if I would have heard anything around this date at this area in the sea, because if it's off the coast of where I live, she kind of keeps a general radius.
Roll a memory.
Cool. 3.
Okay, with 3, you do remember hearing about a tanker going down around October 6th. It was an oil tanker, and there had been a lot of groups that voiced concern about what this was going to do to the environment, to the ocean.
Right.
Which is why it was mentioned maybe a couple weeks later that Mayuken was going to be absolutely on top of this, and they were going to quarantine the area, and they were going to immediately begin building a decontamination facility.
Okay. Oh, that October. That could that have been that new BP spill that happened out there?
I assure you, there was no oil on the tanker that we...
Yeah, I know. No. I remember because BP claimed the spill, but I remember some of those enviro freaks weren't too concerned about it until people started stirring up stuff a couple months later, and that's when that corp, Mayuken. They went out there and she kind of actually pauses for a good amount of time, and then her tone is very different. Built that decontamination chamber out there
That we just robbed.
Bingo, buddy.
Ain't this coincidence? Same
Yes.
place, same bullshit.
Yes. I believe in coincidences. Coincidences happen every day.
Right.
But I do not trust coincidences.
I don't believe in coincidences that transport you to a different plane of existence.
I do not feel like this is another plane. We woke and no time has passed, and we had none of the damages that we had sustained.
Metaplanes do that to you. Time flows differently out there.
To be fair,
No, all right.
We did murder everyone we murdered.
Explain this to me. Metaplanes, planes.
Goodbye.
I fly planes.
You emerge from the top of a brick chimney into a barren wasteland of red earth and redder sky. When you look down beneath you, there's a similar forge to the one you crawled into, though it has been significantly reduced in its size as there's about 10 feet between you and the ground. Magpie, you notice that there is a thin, starved horse tied to a post. It is languidly swishing its tail to and fro in an attempt to shoo away these fat, glossy flies. As you look beyond the horse in every direction, you are surrounded by nothing but horizon. There is a massive bearded man working the forge. Beside him, and this forge, is a rack of weapons. You see a door frame nearby. It seems as though it had belonged in a house once, somewhere far, far away from here. It looks dry and withered, as though even the gentlest of breezes may knock it over. There is no door. Through it, you see more of the same earth and sky, barely indistinguishable by horizon.
Yoshi wants to go to the horse, so he's gonna climb down and set you down, and he's gonna
fall.
I imagine Yoshi dismounts from the roof, because we get out of the chimney, we're on a roof. Yoshi dismounts from the roof and then holds his hands up and then lowers Dash down, and then we proceed.
I do a flip because that's the kind of arrogant ass.
Absolutely can't do. I'm not gonna fall, and I'm not gonna do a flip. Yoshi's my only lifeline. Please don't leave me up here.
No, he'll
Very ungracefully just flop over.
he rubs the horse's nose and pats its flank.
It swishes its tail.
I, on the other hand, am going to introduce myself to this blacksmith. I make
will
our presence
respect
known. I make our presence known before we can surprise a blacksmith. Let me just say it that way.
So I will
Excuse me,
inspect his
sir.
wares.
Well, the blacksmith turns towards you and just kind of gruff, like,
Imagine, I kind of gesture around, you don't get many folk here, we just, don't feel like lying to you, sir. Materialized. Can you point us in the direction of any else?
no, it's just me and my forge.
Here.
There is door.
This door frame.
That is true.
So, just, since you're obviously woke, it's you, portal, nothing?
And horse.
You have a fine horse.
Thank you.
You should feed him a little bit more, though.
I look at him and I go, I'm gonna be real honest with you, sir. He's too proud to ask. What's the horse's name?
Yeah, he had opened his hands and just kind of spread them as if to indicate, what else will I feed him? He calls the horse Vlad.
Ah,
He rubs Vlad's nose.
Yeah.
This is Yoshi's life right now. So y'all are gonna have to do like the heavy lifting on this
yeah,
one.
I understand. I completely
he's,
get it.
He's loving on this goddamn horse.
Yeah, I get it.
You're looking at the weapons next to him.
Mhm.
You notice there's something wrong with the swords, but you can't put your finger on what's wrong with these blades.
I say to him, get a lot of business around here in the barren other plane.
I used to make many a fine piece. I have my own very special methods. They, as of recently, they have been failing me.
He looks at the weapons, looks at the blacksmith, tries to make conversation. Just, so there's some great looking pick stickers you got over there.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
That's incredibly rude, first off.
I was gonna say, I give you a smack. A soft one.
Alright, I'm gonna ask anyone checking out the weapons to roll perception.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna pretend myself to be a bladesmith, but I'm gonna look at
If
them.
you have knowledge-bladed weapons, you can add that in. And then anyone who's talking to the man, you can roll perception on him.
I would be, I got a, 2 for the weapons themselves, but I would be paying much closer attention to the man.
So, because Duma's looking at the swords, you can tell that the metal is incredibly brittle and the blades are liable to snap on their first use. Magpie and Dash, you're looking at the man, and you can see that his exposed skin, of which there's quite a bit, the skin on his chest and arms appears mottled, and he is bespeckled with both scars and open wounds.
Oh boy.
You alright? Man, you ain't looking so great. You get someone rough you up?
No, it is part of my technique.
Go on.
See, I've learned. I used to make the most perfect bladed weapons. And I learned the secret is to put part of yourself into the blade. Literally, put part of yourself into the fires when you forge the blade.
Yeah?
This has always served me very well in the past. But these, and he gestures to the rack of weapons, it's not enough. I keep putting more and more in, and it's not working for me any longer.
You kill yourself, bud.
I don't know what's missing, and it's my purpose to form the most perfect blade.
Okay, I look at him and I go, hey,
How's that horse
have you ever considered that, maybe you don't have the right, resources? She kind of, picks up as she's catching a trail here to try to comfort this guy. Here in this barren wasteland, maybe, you know, the steel's not right, and, where are you getting your stuff from anyway?
No. I have everything I need. And if I cannot create the most perfect sword, then what purpose is there for me? Why bother? It would be easier just to destroy it.
I mean,
Maybe, but as I've learned recently, sometimes destroying everything is not the right call.
No, but it is a choice.
Hey,
Well, yeah.
knife boy, you got anything on this? You think you can help this guy? I don't know.
I could make knife.
You know your way around a knife.
Nick.
Good
Knife?
lord.
I can make a knife. I don't know what is wrong with his.
I don't know.
His
maybe
quench is wrong.
exchange notes. I don't know.
Help a brother out.
And don't lead nowhere. So something's wrong here. Hug it out. I don't know.
She just looks at you with that.
He's forging one right now, right?
Yeah.
Does it look like it's like it should look for a knife for a sword that's being forged?
I'm gonna have to ask you to be more specific in what you're looking for.
Well, you said the hardness is off, which means either the steel is terrible, or
The
his
hardness is an example of something that's wrong with them. He said that his method has always worked in the past, but for some reason, these swords are coming out frailer, and that he doesn't believe he's committing enough, and he doesn't understand how to fix this.
Not to speak for Thick, but I think his question is, can Thick, as a bladesmith, recognize that he does not have the correct materials on this plane?
Phrased like that? No, it seems as though he has everything he needs.
Was that what you were trying to ask?
yeah, and making sure that he's not f***ing it up some way.
Doing it
Does his
properly.
process seem to be incorrect?
Based on what Duma would understand as a blacksmith, yes, everything seems to be correct.
So then what? I would maybe lean over to Doom and I'd say, hey, is there any legitimacy to that whole put yourself into it thing, or is he crazy? Because it might have worked somewhere else, and maybe the mumbo jumbo here doesn't work. Hey, give me a light.
I've never literally
Does it
put
work?
myself in blade.
His thumb lights up.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
Did I? All right, and then she.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Magpie and Yoshi are just like, you know what? Ain't my business. And they're just petting the horse.
Meanwhile, here's me, knows absolutely nothing about making knives, talking to two men whose knives their whole lives, but are honestly socially inept as So I'm just looking at him and going, I'm looking at him and going, maybe it's this. No, you don't think it's that. Okay. Gosh, I think this guy might think it's this. And then everyone goes, no. And then I'm like, work with me, fam.
I want to know what Duma's thinking right now.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
It's a good horse.
when you're making something, you put pieces of yourself into it. That's how everybody makes everything.
You understand that this guy's
He
talking
offers
about
mad
physically,
times.
though.
Yes,
He's cutting away.
I understand, but that's meta. Listen,
That's not metagaming to realize he's cutting pieces.
no,
of
no,
his
no. It's
flesh.
not metagaming. It's this place is very meta, right? Like everything is very
Literal?
literal, so that makes perfect sense.
Well, we don't know that everything's literal. This guy just could be.
Well, I mean for example, monster inside of Yoshi.
Oh, you're talking about everything as a whole. Gotcha.
Yeah, everything since we've gotten here has been incredibly literal. So
So
like,
what's the literal choice that's in front of Duma?
I mean, the literal choices are helping him by putting some of himself in there. That's a part. I was thinking about the story of the Long Night from another series where he could quench the blade in the dude's chest, and that would obviously kill him.
So it sounds to me you have to
But
choose.
I don't know if I'm missing it.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you got a couple choices. Like,
Either teach the man how to do it right, or
He's
We
not
can
doing it wrong.
establish He's not doing it wrong.
oh, well, then I'm not. thinking about
well,
what's
either
supposed
help
to be
him
right
finish
here.
his creation, or use him to finish the creation.
Maybe ask him more about his process. See if there's something else there.
Determined that there was nothing wrong with the process.
Well, I meant like his weird secret ingredient thing. I thought there might be something more to it.
Also, I could just throw his whole body into the forge and make a sword.
Yeah.
But that's
I mean, yeah,
another option.
that is an option.
I look at the guy and I go, so wait a second. You're literally shaving away Listen, I put myself into my work, too. I blood, sweat, and tears into my art. But, other than the occasional nick and, the sweat off my brow, I'm not a part of it until I plug in. You mean...
Yeah, no, and he shows you, he'll turn and show you his back where there are just, like, deep pits in his flesh.
She says, kind of touching it because she's a morbidly curious person. Okay. Let me ask you this, dude. When did you start having this problem? When you got to this place or before?
I don't understand your expression of time. I did not have this, and then I did. When it happened, I don't know.
When you made swords, have you ever made swords anywhere but here, physically?
No.
No, you've always made swords here.
Yes.
So at some point, making swords here just stopped working.
Yes.
Maybe you've given up too much of yourself. Have you ever thought about taking a break? Rejuvenate? Have some time to yourself? Grow some shit back?
This is my purpose. If I do not do this, then I have nothing.
Sometimes your process must change or it will destroy you.
True.
I will either create this blade that I've set out to make, or I will destroy my forge brick by brick until nothing remains.
That statement sets off an alarm in Dash, because to be honest, if you're looking around, you don't see shit. At least we know there's a door, even if it's a shut door, here. So if he's going to destroy his forge brick by brick...
There's a door frame.
That is separate from the forge itself?
Yes.
Never mind. Okay. Sorry.
Do you have to make the blade, or do you want the blade to be part of you?
If someone else makes a blade, it has no meaning to me. I have not created the perfect blade.
Let me ask you this. Must you be around to wield the blade? Or does the blade just have to achieve greatness?
The blade is not for me. It only needs to be the perfect blade.
Then lay down your life.
Then goodbye, old friend. And I throw him in the forge.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I was about to make this. I was about to make this an honor thing.
And I say, take some time. This will take time, and I'll make the sword for the guy.
That decision was going to go one way, and then very quickly went another.
All right, so
that's kind of how Duma goes.
He
goes one way or the other
this,
quickly.
He says, "The blade just must be made," and Dash goes, "Well, then perhaps you might have to lay down your." Oh, Duma! You gotta let the man mix off. Oh my God!
So
that that literally direct tape from the interaction.
Oh.
And then she, after the fourth or so off, she walks away with her head in her hands, just going, "Oh my God, this psycho! Didn't even give the man a chance."
You put him in the forge, and you take one of the blades, maybe more than one, and you reforge it. And it really is the most miraculous looking blade. With the choice made, a cool breeze wafts in your direction from the withered doorframe. From where there was once nothing but a framed view of the earth and sky, you see a darkened hallway.
I imagine we all kind of stand around the doorway, and in a meta sort of sense, just all kind of take a deep breath and just go, "Fuck, I guess."
Yeah.
You wanna...
Bye, Vlad.
Oh, shit. Take the horse.
We're not taking the horse.
I look at you and I'm like, hey,
It's not-
we could take...
Don't want to take a horse through a bunch of hallways.
Hey, honey, what if... She takes her... What if we just took the horse? Please roll to try to oppose me. No, I'm kidding. Make your choices. That's pretty funny.
It's really funny.
Hey, honey, what if we just...
Yoshi will untie the horse and say, "The horse can go his own way," and give the horse a little tap on the ass.
Alright, he swishes his tail lazily and just slowly starts to trot off.
Bye, Vlad.
I look at him and I say, Vlad, I hope you find carrots.
And Yoshi will say to
Let's
Vlad,
just go through the door, guys.
Alright, we go through the door.
You walk through the door frame and enter into the hallway. It is the same hallway you were in before, except you have entered it from the opposite direction. To the left, there are descending stairs, but there is no more red light illuminating them. To the right, the hallway extends into semi-darkness. You see that the door you had entered before is now closed, and notice, in the crease between the door and the door frame, there is solid gold.
Oh.
The door beside you still has no knob. Across from you, there's the bedroom you have explored. The door is wide open, and you can see the bedroom has significantly changed.
Significantly?
I imagine if we can all perceive from just baseline, it's significantly changed. We'd all head there. That kind
Yeah.
of seems to be the home base for
Yeah.
this. And I almost rolling perception, but I think the natural inclination may be, at least for Dash, I'm gonna head to the train track. I imagine he might head to the, you know what I mean, stuffed cat and so on and so forth.
I'm gonna stand by the door.
Okay. So, anyone standing at the door, you know it is not the same bedroom you were in before. It has become much larger and much emptier. And then Dash and Magpie and Yoshi went inside.
Yeah.
So as you enter what was once the bedroom, you see the bed with the same cartoon pony bed sheets. However, the collection of stuffed animals is gone. There is only the teddy bear. Beside it is a bedside table, but there is no longer anything on the table. It looks more like a cell than a bedroom.
Can I make a memory roll? I've worked with Ellie a few times.
Okay.
And Dash has her own personal theory to what's going on. I'd like to roll a memory roll to see if I recognize the teddy bear. That is a 4 to memory the bear.
The bear does look very familiar. It's very reminiscent, if not the same bear that you've seen Ellie with.
Let me ask you one more follow-up question. I think I would know the answer by this point, but it hasn't explicitly been stated. This is a little girl's room.
Yes.
Okay. Just because that would be the final question. Is it a younger version of someone, or is it this person that I think it is? So, go ahead. Is the train still there?
It's basically empty.
Okay.
What about the giraffe?
Lamp.
No, there's no longer anything on the table.
So this room is empty.
This room is depressing, even for me.
I'd look at Magpie and Yoshi and say, well, as far as pressing forward is concerned, we have two options, I suppose. Either the scary, growly basement, or we just came out of something that we said wasn't a door earlier. Try the other knobless one?
I can give it a shot, but
Maybe it's not, magic force and physical force. Yosh, could you kick it? Ram it?
What
Something?
is little girl's name again?
Amara.
Amara. Are you here?
Oh, that's legit.
You don't hear any voice respond to you inside the bedroom.
I would take it maybe a step further. Step out toward... I specifically heard the little girl talk to me in the hallway toward the end of the hall. Maybe I'd step out with a comforting voice. Amara, can you give us a sign?
I would say perhaps you hear a quiet. You barely hear this.
Right.
The most quiet of shuffles from downstairs.
I might be crazy, but I think we should head downstairs.
you're kidding, right? That's where whatever the hell.
I know. By all means, try to kick the door down, but I think we're wasting energy, and this seems to be the way that I'm feeling drawn. Move forward. That's kind
Trust
of
your best judgment.
call,
Let's go.
right?
It's no longer growling at us.
That's true too.
Sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones that don't make noise.
Also, frighteningly true. Let's go forward as a unit.
Let's go.
I
almost imagine we're moving in a diamond shape.
I just love that because the dichotomy between Yoshi and me. Yoshi's the big, loud, screaming guy, and my character doesn't say a whole ton and just murders people with silent weapons.
First of all, I don't think I've ever heard Yoshi scream in my life.
He yells all the time.
when he's doing his intimidates, he
That-
roars
yeah,
and
yeah,
shouts.
Okay.
So we head downstairs.
Yeah.
You proceed downstairs and enter into a dining room. At the dining room table, 2 adult figures sit, completely still. Neither of the 2 figures have faces. They resemble mannequins in that there's the suggestion of some metahuman features such as eyes and a nose. The figure on the left has a masculine build, whereas the figure on the right is more feminine. Between them are papers. There is familiar text and an equally familiar emblem on them. However, as you try to read it, your head begins to hurt as the letters and shape evade your comprehension. The dining room is attached to a small kitchen. A tiny, human-looking girl is leaning with her back against the counter, sliding very slowly away from the scene toward a door. The door itself has a window that frames the darkness outside. Either roll intuition or roll additional perception based on what you think your character would do.
I'll just do an intuition.
Okay.
I will also do an intuition.
I'm gonna roll perception
Okay.
because I think she wouldn't interpret the situation as much as try to explore it.
Come on.
3.
Okay.
4.
So, with a 1, you know that she's being careful. With more than a 1, you can determine, based on her measured movements, she's trying very hard to deliberately not disturb the 2 figures fixed at the table. With your auditory perception, you hear the idle engine of a car outside. You don't recognize it, but you know it's beyond the door.
I would say, and this won't make sense to anyone that wouldn't pick up on it, but this is just what she'd say outside. I'd say there's someone waiting for her outside.
She's running away.
Let's
Yes. And there's someone there to pick her up.
let's be quiet about this one. She's sneaking away from these things. Maybe she's scared of them.
I would agree with you completely, and I would say, let me follow her. I won't be long.
I'm going
Can
with
I?
you.
I rationally, Dash thinks that this may not actually exist at all, but she's still going to attempt to sneak after this thing, whether or not a sneak would be relevant. Does that make sense?
Yeah?
Let's follow.
Let's protect little girl.
That makes sense for everyone here. At least no one would straight up object and would follow along. So let's follow the girl.
Okay.
Well,
Or not, he'd say let's
I mean,
follow little girl.
I want to see what's on the papers, but Yoshi would be down for the little
That's
girl.
exactly what I meant when I said nobody would object.
You can roll willpower to try to force yourself to see what's on these papers.
3.
Okay. With a 3, you can tell that these are intake forms for Mayuken Incorporated.
Interesting.
So now, what do you do, and how do you do it?
I would like to sneak around the periphery of the room.
Okay,
I don't want
so
to draw their attention because they're dangerous to the denizen of this plane.
you start to sneak around. You start. What's next?
I said I would stealth after little girl as well, so I'm also sneaking.
Okay.
Anyone else not sneaking for any reason?
Go, Duma, you go next.
Yeah, I'll sneak.
Alright, and then we have Yoshi. So, as you mimic her movements, trying to minimize any sound you make while following her, you can feel the faceless figures watching you. Both of their heads have turned toward you. Though they are both seated and very still, the more feminine of the two has not moved. The head of the masculine one has turned all the way around, 180 degrees to follow you. You watch their features, their figures, with bated breath while slowly, carefully, moving around the dining room table. The dimples in their faces where their eyes should be depress further until there are black sunken pits. The figures have not moved as their transformation continues. Their jaw begins to open, and the patch of flat skin where there should have been a mouth is pulled taut. Black tears erupt as the skin splits. It grows as their jaws open further than humanly possible, creating great, dark maws.
I bolt, fan.